when we last left off, from your perspective, the group was in Altdorf. You had separated from them in order to go do some studying at the university between you and Giselle. And after several days at the university, a page delivered a note from you indicating that the group was forced to leave the town. They were leaving at dawn, traveling on in the same direction with instructions for you to meet them as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. You don't really know why it was vague. You don't know how old it is because you haven't seen the group in 4 days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you've been sequestered in the university doing all your studying. The only real contact other than the clerks and students of the university and other wizards is Giselle. Mm-hmm. So, with that in mind, what would you like to do?
Well, the last session I bought transport to go to Diesendorf.
Well, and is that still what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you had looked at getting passage to Diesdorf, which is about a 2-week journey by coach. Your ticket is good whenever you wish to use it.
Okay.
Okay. It's just a sort of standing ticket.
Okay. I got the high end thing.
Yes, yeah. You got good passage, high quality passage, so it should be a bit better protected.
Yeah. Do all this stuff. So.
You got the note late in the afternoon. Arranged passage that evening or afternoon.
Yeah.
The coach won't be leaving till morning.
Yeah.
And did you decide whether you're going to leave that staff here for them to research, or you're taking it with you?
I'm taking it with me.
Okay. Giselle, from her part, is excited to be on the road again, further adventure, and she fills the afternoon just talking away, chattering, discussing all the possibilities and all the great, wonderful things that you guys are going to see when you travel south.
Yeah. Does the wagon provide food, or is that something we need to...
They stop every few hours at a coaching inn,
okay,
where food and supplies can be purchased.
Okay.
Basically, it's consider it effectively 3 stops during the day: one in the morning, one at midday, and one in the evening at a coaching inn, where you stop for at least an hour or overnight, and then the next morning it continues on. Okay. None of this is high-speed travel, so they don't go overnight or what. They stop and eat at various places, so there'll be numerous places along the way where you can stop.
Then I think I'll probably go the next day.
Okay. Nothing else you want to accomplish in town?
I honestly think I got everything, and I didn't get paid, so it's like I don't have that gold to spend. So.
Okay. And you had enough for the coach?
Yeah, I had enough for the coach. I already marked that down.
Okay. So following morning, you guys get up bright and early, head to the coaching line, where you and a handful of others climb onto the 5 wagons coach, which is bound for Grunberg by way of the South Road. The coach itself is well appointed, comfortable for a coach. There are, we'll say, 3 other people on the coach with you.
Okay.
One appears to be a female aristocrat. Seems more interested in staying comfortable and chattering with Giselle about whatever.
Okay.
Than anything that you might have or any of the other people. She almost turns her nose up at everybody else on the coach. Okay. But Giselle strikes up a conversation and pretty much chatters away with her for most of the journey. There is also a fairly rough-looking person. Doesn't speak much. Eyes everybody fairly suspiciously. Wide-brimmed hat. And when he climbs onto the coach, you spot he has a set of revolvers or pistols under his jacket.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be nobility or whatever, but certainly carries himself as if he has a lot of authority and confidence.
Does he have any like badges of office or anything?
He has a variety of badges, including a collection of holy symbols
Okay.
attached around a leather cord around his neck, most of which look to be fairly old, somewhat damaged, and a bit beat up. They don't look necessarily look. They look more as a collection rather than a like a personal artifact.
Okay.
You understand the difference
Sure.
in terms of if it's something that had a lot of interest in, he would have it. It'd be in good repair. It'd be prominently displayed. His are prominently displayed, but they're also all just a jumble in a collection. They're like one cord with lots of different symbols and markings and so forth.
Okay.
He climbs on. He's the second one to jump on the wagon. Climbs on, like I said, he doesn't really say much, but has a fairly gruff-looking personality. His mannerisms and everything are fairly gruff and rough. Doesn't say much, but eyes everybody very suspiciously, and then just sits quietly in the corner of the coach.
Okay.
The third one is a bookish-looking fellow, not somebody that you've seen from the university, but he does strike you as familiar. Give me either an intelligence roll, or if you have something along those lines.
War magic.
No, more magic would not apply.
Yeah, I think that's all I have really for that.
Okay.
So just intelligence. Well, I don't know them because we're not doing low numbers are good, so that would be a 59, and I rolled a 5.
Okay. He climbs onto the wagon, large book in hand. Sits down on the chair. Initially sits down, not really paying much attention. Sits between the lady and Giselle, and 5 minutes later or so, he gets up, apologizes, and moves over so that Giselle and the lady can sit next to each other. Okay. The first day passes quietly and, like I said, fairly uncomfortably, despite the coach's quality. The roads in the Empire are fairly rough, and the cart bounces and so forth down the road. The lady introduces herself as Lady Isolde.
Okay.
She claims to be a noble on the way to Nuln, just out for a spot of adventure. And she's visiting her family vacation spot south of Nuln. She's very talkative, and just carries on talking about the grand parties and people she's going to know and the princes she's going to date and so forth down there. Not really paying much attention to much else. The other two pretty much don't really say much of anything, although the guy with the book keeps his nose in the book basically the entire time. The other guy, the rough-looking one, watches everybody. Definitely seems to be paying attention to everything that's said. And every now and then, when there's a strange noise outside, or the cart makes a sudden jolt or something like that, you almost catch him reflexively flinching, like he's on guard.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I see the title of the book that the dude's reading, or?
No, it has some old writing on it, but it's fairly rubbed out.
Okay.
And it's reading through it. Every now and then you catch different bits of words and some pictures and things like that, or some writings in it. It doesn't look like a book of magic, but you can't discern what the subject is.
Okay.
Okay. Anything you wish to do with any of them?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. The first day passes quickly as the coach heads south. And by, let's see, where are you? Probably by the end of the first day, you are at a coaching inn here where the road turns south.
Okay.
At the coaching inn, everybody hops off the coach, obviously, secures a room for the night, and as they go about their business, you see the rough-looking figure over at the bar talking in a low voice to the bartender, and he's showing him some sort of parchment that he pulls from inside his coat. Lady Isolde goes over to the dining hall, orders a bunch of food, and starts entertaining herself and several of the locals. And then the guy with the book finds a quiet corner where he can sit and continue reading.
Could I take a seat sort of near the bar, like one of the side tables, and try to overhear what the dude's talking about with the parchment?
You can. Give me a perception roll.
Perception. Okay. I have a 103.
103. He seems to be asking the bartender if he has seen someone.
Okay.
And looking for information about travelers that have come through this area. After a minute or two, he sort of turns to the side and looks at you, realizing that you might be paying attention to him. Steps away from the bar, steps over to the table with you and says, "So, you seem a bit observant, perhaps a little bit curious. Would you happen to know of this person?" And he puts the parchment on the table. On the center of it it's a large wanted poster with a fairly unflattering sketch of the priest of Sigmar from the group.
Okay. I inform him I have not, but I will let you know if I do happen to come across him.
Have you ever met this person before?
I've met many priests, not him though.
What's your business down in Grunberg?
I'm traveling up to Nuln for future studies and stuff for the college.
Are you? Your companion there claims you guys are on an adventure of some sort. She was rather chatty all day.
Well, yeah. Prentice always thinks it's an adventure when we go traveling to big cities out in the world.
Okay. Give me a charm roll.
Oh, okay. Gotta charm the witch hunter. That would be a 82.
82? Okay. You don't seem to really convince him as such, but he doesn't seem to be concerned too far. I mean, he seems to be more disinterested in your reasons than caring enough to be worried about whether or not you're telling him the truth. After a few moments, he spots somebody else in the room, picks up his parchment, and heads over there. He's armed with several sharp weapons. Like I said, he carries a collection of 4 pistols underneath his jacket. And strides over to another group where he interrupts their meal and starts asking them questions
On
in
the
low, hushed
wanted
voices.
poster, how recent did it look?
It looked like from the ink. Give me a
Art check.
I don't know about that. Any sort of crafting skills?
Outdoor survival?
Okay. Give me a perception roll. Just basic thing.
Probably. Yeah.
Outdoor survival wouldn't matter.
Haggle, maybe.
No.
Well, I guess not haggle. It would be evaluate, but 108.
108. There were. It looked like from paper it was fairly recent.
Okay.
Probably within the last week or so. The current warrant is 50 gold, 50 crowns to the location or information leading to the capture of a whatever that character's name is.
Yes.
I forget the name of this character now. Players Frederick von Gustafsson.
Okay.
Wanted in connection to official investigations in the city of Altdorf.
Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't specifically say for the crime of.
It doesn't state what the crime is. He's wanted for investigation, and he is apparently tracking this person. So he's either a bounty hunter or something along those lines, tracking these guys down. Now, if you recall, when you were in Altdorf, there were indications that there were wanted posters up for the group.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like one of those from the ones you saw in town. Those look to be several weeks old. This looks like a fresh printing and doesn't describe anybody else other than Frederick. And has a fairly, like I said, not necessarily flattering, but a fairly accurate portrayal or picture of him.
Okay.
Including a basic description and so forth. Okay.
Okay. I guess I'll get a room and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And otherwise, just try to keep your head down for the travel.
Yep.
Okay. So next few days, travel's very similar. Here and there along the road, one or two other people join the wagon, join the coach, and at different spots they drop out. Generally speaking, a few more join before you guys get to Grinberg.
Okay.
The terrain down here is hilly and covered with grasslands to the west, to your right. Heavy dark forest off to the left.
Okay.
Okay. Along the way, you spot in the distance Castle Reikgard, which I don't know if you can see it on the map.
Yeah.
It's a imposing castle built out on a cliff face overlooking where the river splits. And it's notable for the fact that it is constructed of various stones and so forth from this immediate area, taken from other ruins and things like that. So harvested from ruins. They bring the stones there and built the castle ages ago. It's also supposedly the place where the Crown Prince is hiding, with potential rumors of being a mutant or other ailments and so forth. You hear all sorts of rumors along the way. Speaking of which, give me a gossip or gather information.
That would be my gossip.
Okay.
Because I don't have any other advanced things like that. Oh, I think I should pass something with more than 2. That is a 115.
Okay.
Because I actually have training in gossip. So.
Ooh, aren't you fancy? Let me see if I can get some rumors for you.
The group has been captured and killed.
Right.
That is really wanted for a celebration ceremony, not anything else.
give me a D10 roll.
That'd be 3.
3. A lot of the travelers early on are commenting about how the roads around Altdorf are troubled by bandits. There's quite a bit of activity in the area. One even comments that only last week a coach failed to get through. And they're complaining that it's about time that the emperor started looking after common folk rather than just the nobility and the wealthy, protecting the road. Lady Isolde basically dismisses that as idle chatter, saying that there's no such cause for concern. The roads are obviously safe because they have not have had any problems. The witch hunter, as you're titling him,
We're just marking
yes.
stuff and pistols.
Who knows? He might just be a collector. He seems undisturbed or not really caring about it. The guy with the book looks up when that sort of talk comes up, and certainly pays attention, but seems rather meek about it and more of just trying to mind his own business. Okay. Give me another D10 roll.
Okay. And throughout the days, has it been the same book?
Yes. Yeah, he has one large, oversized book that he seems to be reading, studying, or in some cases taking notes in.
Throughout the days, have I gotten a general theme of what the book would be, or not?
No, he's been fairly secretive. Okay. Anytime he catches you sort of looking over at whatever he is, he shifts and turns.
Okay.
He doesn't seem to care for people reading over his shoulder.
Okay, 9.
A 9. Okay. Couple people comment as you guys head further south that the road wardens are in this area are corrupt and shouldn't be trusted. They'll take advantage of you, and they're just as likely to rob you if they have the opportunity, and then claim it was bandits or creatures. Okay? So, perhaps a week later or so, the coach rides into Grunberg, crosses over the river, and rattles into Grunberg itself. Grunberg is a larger village. I believe it was on the list.
It was boat supplies.
No, I think that was D-Store.
I thought it would have been Grim. I thought it was Grimboat. It was the boat supplies and hardware.
I'll find it.
But I could be wrong.
Trading rules. That's a tier. Okay. So you are at Grunberg. Diesdorf does grain. Grunberg is trade and boat building.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is a large place, a large town, lots of dock space, and numerous fishing boats, cargo boats, similar to what the group had, and some smaller military vessels, not necessarily like big warships that would take a much bigger shipyard, but there's probably a dozen or so ships of various sizes currently in works or being repaired out on the docks.
Okay.
Most of the environment seems to focus on that. Besides, along with the materials in the trees, as far as carpentry, wood crafting, etc., all in support of the boat building. Fairly rough and tumble town. Not a whole lot of high society. It's more of manufacturing. The coach rolls up to a large tavern or inn, and as usual, everybody hops out and heads out about their business.
Okay.
Is there anything here in town that you would like to do? Giselle is eager, having been on the coach for a week, to explore and see the sights.
Yeah.
But we'll take your direction.
Sure. What's the most notable thing about Grunberg so we can visit?
The most notable is the ship docks.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess we'll take a look at that.
Okay. You guys wander down to take a look at the boats being built.
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of stevedores and artisans moving boxes, moving equipment, and so forth. It's very loud. Lots of machinery and tools in place. A lot of hammering and so forth. About half the boats are in dry dock, meaning they're up on the shore on stands where they can be worked on all sides. The other half are in the water, being worked on above the water line. For the most part, the locals pretty much ignore you. As long as you're not in the way, they don't really care. But after a few minutes, a dwarf wanders over to you and says, "Hey there, what might you be doing here?"
Just observing the fine craftsmanship.
"These the finest boats we got around. You interested in purchasing?"
Oh, maybe sometime in the future.
"What kind of boat you be interested in? A caracal, a river barge, one of these fine frigates over here?"
I don't know.
A quality maid such as yourself certainly needs the finest travel travel vehicle here. These boats, these will get you up and down the river with no time at all."
Okay. What would be the prices?
The prices? Oh, I don't know.
Just the humor, no mind. I know that's probably going to be like
Yeah,
200
it's
gold
a few hundred gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the river barges, I think they start off on the few hundred gold level.
Yes.
And they go up to more money than you could ever logically think with the bigger ones. I mean, the frigates, I'm just going to throw out a number. I'm going to say probably 5,000-10,000 for the large ones, but you'd also need a crew of probably 10 people or so to be able to really drive it. The river barges, yeah, a few hundred gold. You can get something basic like that because it's nothing more than a big floating raft.
Yeah.
And they can be managed by a single person. Couple would be preferable. He's more than willing to give you some tours and show you around and show you all the places if you're interested. Otherwise, assuming you politely dismiss him, he goes back to his business.
Okay. I would like to ask him. What's like a boat going down the river at the fastest pace from Altdorf could arrive here possibly?
Could a fast moving boat get to Grunberg? Absolutely.
Well, how quick?
From where?
Altdorf.
Altdorf. I don't know. Probably do it in 5 days. 3 if you go overnight. I wouldn't suggest that though. These rivers can be a bit might tricky at night.
Have you guys seen a purple and gold boat called the Heldenhammer pass through here?
Purple and gold boat. Well, that's a unusual color combination. No, I can't say I've seen anything like that. I haven't really paid much attention. You might talk with the harbor master. Anybody checked in along those lines, he might know.
Okay.
I mainly just run all these dock workers, keep them busy. Occasionally send people off down the river to do other work for the Empire. But the harbor master would be the one that if anybody came and moored up here, would have information. Purple and gold, purple boat. You say that's strange. Not familiar with that boat builder. Who would have painted it that way?
I have no idea who would have painted that.
Oh well, I'll keep an eye out for it. If it's a good pattern, maybe I'll start using it on some of our boats.
Okay.
But no, that's not a common one.
Did the either the witch hunter or throughout the taverns or whatever have extra of those post things?
No.
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 Oh, it's only from him.
He has a wanted poster that he's carrying and showing to people, and then he takes it back when he's done talking or questioning with them.
Okay, I didn't know if there was like I encountered more along the way, so I can pick one up.
No.
Or not. Okay.
No.
And then I will ask him whether or not he's seen either our sailor that's in our group. I don't know what his description is, or the priest.
Well, you can give him a description. I don't know if you know the name, but this boat maker. Who you're talking to?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know anybody like that. I mean, we got lots of sailors. I mean, he points to a dozen different people that meet your description. There's sailors everywhere around here.
Yeah.
And a number of them are fairly close in description to Dip. The priest, no, he hasn't seen a warrior priest of Sigmar for some time. Might check up near Altdorf. He hears there's a major temple to Sigmar up there. Mm-hmm. If he was a priest, that's probably where he'd be headed. There might be some further south where the river turns west towards Ubersreich.
Yeah.
There's always call for warrior priests and warriors heading out into the Grey Lady Pass.
Grey Lady Pass.
Yes.
I need to.
Off to the west.
Okay.
According to him, that area is common with orcs and goblins in the mountains. Hasn't been there since he was a youngin', but there's always need for warriors and such out there. Mm-hmm. Solid warrior priest might have headed out that direction.
Okay. So.
Giselle asks, "Are we gonna seek orcs?"
Probably not. Then I'll say goodbye to the thing.
Okay.
Does
he heads off yelling at some people who are about to drop a load of lumber.
Yeah. Is there like a temple of Sigmar here or a shrine?
There's a shrine of Sigmar, yes.
Okay. I would like to go there and see if he happens to be there or he left some inscripted note in the shrine.
Okay. You head to the shrine of Sigmar. It is maintained by a local cleric, local priest. Fairly down on his luck as far as his outfits. I mean, if you remember where the priest started with, it was fairly low end anyways.
Brass one.
The basic street priest was brass 1. Level 2 or level 3 is a little better, but a lot of their position comes from serving the poor rather than from personal wealth and so forth. So you find a guy tending to the shrine.
Okay.
He's standing at the edge of his doorway as people walk by, just like muttering prayers, each one of them as they go by. Most of the locals seem to just be walking past, not paying any attention to him.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I'll walk up to him and talk to him.
Okay. Greetings.
Greetings.
Welcome to the Shrine of Sigmar.
Is it how well off the shrine is?
It's a wooden structure with a couple with an altar and some decorations and things like that. It looks like well used armor and weapons and things like that decorating it.
Okay.
Not necessarily sure if they are actual versus decorative, and regardless they'd be secondhand. But there's a number of things like that decorating the interior of the shrine. he brings you in. As you enter the shrine, he splashes some sort of water on you.
Okay.
Issues some sort of prayer that sounds similar to what Frederick would have said, and welcomes you to pray at the shrine of Sigmar for combat prowess, might, and the furtherance of the Empire.
Okay. Have you happened to seen a similar Sigmarite priest, Frederick? He goes by
A Sigmarite priest. Not too recently. Haven't. I mean, we occasionally get the people walking in and doing their prayers and everything, but I haven't seen a Sigmarite priest. Was one supposed to be down here? I've been waiting for a message from Altdorf for weeks. I sent my petition. Have they sent a response yet?
What petition?
Oh, I had petitioned them for an acolyte and for assistance. I have need for assistance of somebody capable of dealing with the dangers of this world and everything. And it must have been 2 moons ago when I sent that. Surely they've sent word for assistance at this point. Are you from Altdorf?
I am from Altdorf, but I am not from the church.
Oh. Well, would you and your companion be up for a little bit of work?
What's the word?
I'm sure it can't possibly be dangerous.
Just like how you asked for some people to take care of some dangerous
no, I have to manage my shrine here. But if you're interested in perhaps a day or two of effort, I could certainly pay you.
Oh, what's the work?
Well, just down the river in Rotfurt.
Okay.
There's some illnesses in town, and I can't really leave my shrine here. Last time I did that for a couple of days, I came back and it was a bit of a mess. Those vandals in town just completely wrecked it. But if you could take this medicine to them and deliver it to Rotfurt, I'd be ever so grateful.
Okay. I thought he was going to ask me to figure out what the illness is and stuff, but it's like, I have no
Well, certainly if you could figure out the cause, that would be even better.
Okay.
I mean, certainly the gods, the Sigmar would bless you for such further effort, but I don't necessarily know that you are skilled in the ways of medicine. So honestly, the main thing I need is somebody to deliver the medicine to the town.
Okay. I will. Sure. I'll do this for you.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
How much is the payment?
I don't know. It's like 2 days there, 2 days back. He goes over to the offering box and shakes it a little bit. I pours it out in his hand. I give you 5 shillings. And keep in mind the wealth level of the world. 5 shillings is a lot. It might not be a lot for you.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to be wealthy.
So Rockford's there.
Yep.
What's Rockford's economy level? What is Rotfoot?
Rotfurt? What does it do?
Yeah. What does it do for a living?
Well, apparently it died from disease.
Yes.
Let's see if it is listed.
Hold on, stop that. Stop being like Giselle.
It'd be nice if it. I have grains and wine.
Grains and wine.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is Ernswald?
Ernswald?
Yeah, just south of it.
Spell it.
Auer.
Auer.
Swald.
Auer. Let's see if I can find that one. Oh, south of that, that's Auerswald.
Oh, Howard's. Okay.
That's why I saw that one. Auerswald.
Supposed to know. World Dad.
Well, since I can't see the map when I'm looking at the city names. Auerswald is metal.
Metal.
Yeah, they are a metal production location. So they would be doing mining
Okay.
from the hills to the east, and then coming down from the mountain from Ubersreich.
Okay. How much would like a coach or ferry go to Rotsford would be?
Ferry? There's no real ferry. You could hire on as a passenger on a cargo boat headed that way. That would cost you 2 shillings.
And then there's no carriages that go to Rotsford?
No, there's no carriages. They go along. The coaches go along the roads.
I will deliver the medicine.
Okay.
And I'll take the 2 silver just for transport, but I'll deliver it. It's on my way.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. Talk to Baumgartner at the docks. He'll hook you up with a passage on a boat.
Okay.
Here he's got the fastest boats. Okay.
What time of day is it?
When you guys arrived at Grunberg, it was late in the evening.
Okay.
With the coach, you would have been traveling most of the day.
Okay. Trying to think of what other notable places I would go to other than the tavern. Did he give me a time to meet him, or
Baumgartner?
yeah?
No, he describes them as a fairly gruff dwarf. Doesn't have a whole lot of patience.
Okay.
Runs most of the dock builders, but he can put you in contact with a good boat.
Is the description the same dwarf I
It
talked to?
seems to be, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I will probably get a tavern for the night, and then. Well, did I buy transport to
You bought
Düsseldorf?
you bought several tickets
Okay.
to go different lengths between. So whether you're on the coach in the morning or not doesn't matter. You can, if you get back to Grunberg, you can take the next leg to go from Grunberg to Diesdorf.
Okay. That's not as bad then, because I was thinking it's a time thing. So I was thinking I could sell my tickets for
You could.
money,
You still could sell your tickets anyways.
because I was thinking it's like, well, if I'm going to Rotsford, I can keep going south to Erzwald and then go to Kemperbad. But
Sure.
I'll probably be back to Grunberg. At least let them know that I successfully delivered medicine, or I unsuccessfully delivered medicine.
I failed to deliver your medicine. Do you have any more?
What does it look like? It is. It's like a.
Oh, he gives you a couple of large saddlebags.
Okay.
They are filled with several clay jars, large like pots or whatever, with cork stoppers on them. He said, "Give this to the village elder in Rotford,
Okay.
and they'll know what to do." There's a priest of Shalia at the town that went there some time ago when the plague broke out,
Okay.
and would know what to do with the medicine at that point.
How bad has the plague been?
Oh, I'm sure it's fine at this point. Shalia's been there; her blessing is covering it.
Okay.
This is really just preventative medicine.
How long has it been there?
The first reports were sometime this last spring. I'm sure it's burned its way out out of the people. It's fall.
Okay.
I'm sure it's burned its way out of the system of the people there at this point.
Mm.
Nothing to worry about.
Okay. Is there? I doubt it, but is there like some type of small library or college outpost or whatever here?
In Grunberg?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Oh. Could I potentially talk to a herbalist to try to get tips on any preventive measures of not getting disease going into disease town?
There are a couple of local pharmacists
Okay.
and things like that. They're fairly low end, and they're just going to provide some basic information.
Okay.
They can give you on the equipment list. I believe there is a anti-disease toxin type thing.
Maybe.
At least what Warhammer claims is anti-disease.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they have plague masks, and they suggest a piece of cloth strapped over your nose.
Okay.
The plague masks, I'm sure you're familiar with the shape of them.
Yeah.
They have a collection of herbs and plants that smell nice that you stuff in the nose, and that supposedly prevents any of the disease from coming up the nose and avoids some of the stink of the disease.
Okay. How much would be a plague mask and herbs?
The plague mask and herbs, we'll say 4 brass.
4 brass. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll spend the fortune.
Okay. You're gonna get a second one for Giselle?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that'd be another 4. Okay. According to them, they give you enough for 3 days worth of the herbs in the plague mask.
I sure hope I won't be staying there for 3 days.
I don't know.
Oh, for each of us, or
yeah, for each of you.
Okay.
They say that make sure you change these out at least every 24 hours, otherwise they lose their effectiveness. Wouldn't want anybody getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're feeling ill, don't be coming back to Grunberg.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Do they know what disease is at Brunford?
No.
Okay, the apothecaries here have not gotten cases here.
They seem they have their theories and they throw out different ideas, but none of them seem to match up with their descriptions. Like the symptom, one person says it gives you fever, one person says it gives you chills. Even with your limited medical knowledge, it doesn't seem like they're in concert. For the impression you get is these apothecaries and herbalists are far more interested in staying home and tending to their own people than bothering to go with any real threats at another town. The only one that seems to have any interest in helping them would be the Priest of Sigmar.
Okay. So when I mentioned that I'm going down there, no one's interested in like accompanying me?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they when you start buying masks and so forth, they seem concerned. And then they say, well, here you go, here's some herbs. Keep them fresh and stocked every day or so. And best of luck.
Okay.
Don't be heading back.
Do they instruct me how to store said herbs, or
They come in a bundle,
okay,
wrapped up. That'll keep them dry and fresh for up to a week or so. And then, like I say, you unwrap a bundle, stuff it in the nose, and then use it for up to 24 hours to get the apparent protection of the herbs versus the deadly disease.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I think we'll go to a tavern and sleep then.
Okay.
And
Get a room for the night and then go out in the morning.
yeah, to go to the dwarf.
Okay. So you get up early in the morning when sounds of the dock workers start waking everybody up in town, and head out early. You find Baumgartner still doing stuff. He calls out to you. So you changed your mind. You wanted to buy a boat now, didn't you?
I want to rent a transport down south on a boat.
You want to? You want passage on a boat?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say that's unusual to rent a boat, but I guess that's possible. That might be a business option. Maybe we should rent boats. That's crazy talk. Okay, so you want passage? Not a problem. Right here, Dragon's Fang. That boat right there. He's heading south. Where are you going south?
I'm going to Rockford.
Rodford. Why you want to go there?
I have to deliver some medicine for the priest.
Wilfred convinced you to deliver his medicine?
He did.
He's been talking about that for 2 months. Man. Either you're brave or you're gullible. Which one is it? I don't know, but that's fine. Dragon's Tongue right there. They'll take you.
Do you have any tasks at Rodford that you need done? Since no one's been wanting to go there.
Oh, no. We got all our wood up from up north. comes down the river or from Ireswald, they'll send logs and things like that over to us. We don't really need much from Rockford. All they do is make wine. What? That's not very good. I'm much more of a beer drinker myself. Never had much cause, desire, or interest in ever going to Rockford. Seems like a waste of good land to me. Barley and hops, that's what you should be growing. Not those crazy grapes.
What's the who runs the dragon thing?
Dragon Fame? That guy there, Jake.
What's his
name? You see a older guy, stands up.
Okay. What's he transporting and where he's going?
He has a whole bunch of what looks like empty baskets.
Okay.
And so forth. According to him, he's heading to Auerswald.
Okay.
To get a load of metal to bring back here for the shipwrights.
Okay.
he runs the route several times a month.
Okay, so he's pretty reliable then.
Yeah, he did. Well, I mean,
no, yeah,
he's ancient. He's like 40 years old, man. He's been doing this since he was a good 15, 16 years old. So.
Okay. Then I will go talk to the man.
The Jake?
Yeah, Jake. The Jake.
Welcome!
Are you able to arrange transport down south?
We got my boat here, Dragon Fang.
Okay.
You and the missus going south?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if Baumgartner says you guys are going with me, that's fine. Hop on board.
Okay.
It's about 4 days.
I'm going to Rockford.
Oh, we're dropping you off there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's about 2 days. No problem. I thought you were going to Auerswald. I don't hear very well. Okay. So, while you're getting on, untie that rope there. Push off from the side. Okay. So, he inadvertently puts you to a bit of work here and there.
Okay.
Just like absently telling you to do different things, especially anytime you start to relax or sit down or have a separate conversation. He always seems to be there asking you to do something else.
Am I the only one? Is he the only one manning this boat?
Yes.
Okay.
He's manning the boat, which is filled with a whole bunch of boxes that are heavily scarred and dirty from either soot or ash or something like that.
Okay.
From the metal that they've been transporting back and forth.
Okay.
Fairly pleasant guy, a bit absent-minded, doesn't hear worth anything. But he can pilot the boat and seems to know his way back and forth amongst the 4 days journey at least. And pushes off without much difficulty. Starts heading down the river. By when night falls, he pulls over on the side and parks. Starts a little can fire in like a little tin can, effectively. Mm-hmm. Pulls some fish out of the river. Offers you that for food.
Sure.
That's all he seems to have. And after another day, sometime late in the morning, it comes around a bend. He points up ahead. You see vineyards, just like stretched out over the land, going up the western river branch. Along the way, on the northern side of the river, there's a fairly quaint stone building village, maybe a couple dozen houses or so. On the southern side is what looks like a large estate with a large building in the center of it. And according to him, that's the vineyard that basically owns most of the lands around that area. They make, in his mind, fairly good wine. And he suggests if you get the opportunity, maybe pick up a few. When he comes back by, he'll trade you that for travel back to Grunberg.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just about to ask whether or not he wanted something.
Yeah, no, he's always interested in it.
Okay. How expensive is it usually?
Well, it can get pretty expensive. But no, just the basic stuff is good. They make good wine. It's fairly good. You don't need to go crazy on it. Don't need any of that elvish stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
I give him the 2 silver that I got from the priest for the transport.
Okay. You pay for it.
Yeah.
Not a problem. He pulls up. Where you want me to drop you off? You want the city docks, or you want somewhere else?
The city docks is good.
Okay. He pulls up to the docks.
Yeah, as it's
right there.
Up, I'll get the mask on and stuff.
Okay. He looks curiously at you as you do that. Pulls up to the docks. You guys hop off without any difficulty.
Okay.
And he pushes off and says, "Okay, I'll be back this way in about 4 days."
Okay.
Okay. And starts heading down the river. You find yourself on a stone pier, stretches out from the village a fair distance. Looking towards the village, there's, like I said, a couple dozen stone buildings, red tile roofs and so forth, and narrow streets. There are several large oak casks stacked up near the dock that would typically be loaded up onto ships or whatever, presumably wine stores, and a handful of shops. The unusual part is all of them are currently closed,
Okay.
and there's no sign of any people in the place. Somewhere in the distance, as the sounds of the boat disappears down the river, you hear a dog barking.
Okay.
Somewhere in the city, in
Like
the town.
there's no one at the docks or anything?
There's nobody in the docks, no other boats or anything else like that.
Okay.
It's all quiet. Like I said, in front of you, you have the village, maybe a couple dozen houses or buildings, and then across the river to the south, there's a large footbridge that crosses over the other river, leads into the plantation area where the winery is.
Does it look like the stalls and stuff has taken wear or damage, or does it look like it's just completely abandoned?
It doesn't look like it's abandoned. It looks like it has been closed.
Okay.
Like they closed up shop for the night and then just didn't open.
Okay. What time of day is it?
It is maybe 10, 11 in the morning.
Okay. So businesses will usually be open at this
Yes.
time, correct?
Yeah. Now Rockford isn't a big city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's maybe a few hundred people, but absolutely there would be something going on typically any given time of the day.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll start walking my way to town. Staying alert.
Okay. I mean, the town, like I said, is just at the end of the pier. You head over there, start looking around. Here and there, you see baskets or things like that just left out, and they're sort of blowing in the wind.
Okay.
Somewhat with the little breeze that's there. There is a sweet smell coming from the city when the wind blows out through the streets. But other than the sound of the breeze, there doesn't seem to be anything or anyone here.
Okay.
All the stores, all the shops, everything seems to be locked up and closed. It doesn't look like it was abandoned, but more that everything was actually closed specifically. Like I said, it looks other than the fact it's midday, it looks like they closed up shop for the night, put everything away, and then left town.
Is there recent disturbances, like obvious signs that people were here of recent, or
Not here and there.
does there seem like to be an abundance of cobwebs on baskets?
No. There's no cobwebs or anything like that. Everything's clean and orderly, and honestly in fairly good repair. A little bit further up, you approach a square area. A couple streets come together, and there's a open air tavern with tables out on the side. The tavern itself is closed up, but there's a couple of the tables still have plates with food on them. That looks like the food's been there for quite some time.
I guess I will go to the temple or whatever, the Shalia temple.
Okay, the temple of the town.
Yeah.
Okay.
And See if anyone's there.
There is a temple to. Take that away from me, please. Okay. Let me get the. Religion. Cult. Okay. Strategy, seed, death, fertility, mercy, empire, wild. Okay. I would say probably the main temple here is to the cult of Raya.
Okay.
The goddess of fertility, farming, etc. Probably the most logical. There is a large open air area with that, um, typically decorated with harvest themes or think Thanksgiving type stuff. Um, there's a large straw or wicker statue to Raya,
Okay.
and a handful of current season crops around the base, including numerous bunches of grapes.
Okay.
Okay. All of them appear to be withered, wilted, or in some cases slightly rotted, like they'd been here for some time.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be anything current.
I guess I will knock on the front door if there is a front door.
There is, yeah, there's a little house next to it that you would associate with it.
Okay.
You knock on the door. There's no answer.
Okay. Is it unlocked?
You try it. It is unlocked. Doesn't seem to have anything blocking it or whatever. You push it open. It's a small, fairly simple house. Similar decorations and so forth to the same cult inside it. And it looks like nobody's been here in at least several days, if not a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Things are clean and put away, but not occupied as such. Again, not cobwebs or a heavy layer of dust or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everything sort of just seems like it was left behind.
Okay. Is there like a town hall type thing?
Yeah, you saw a large building. It'll probably be a government building.
Okay.
Okay, you head there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a fairly large stone structure built up on a little bit of a rise, so it sort of towers over the rest of the village. Similar, it appears to be abandoned,
Okay.
or at least left behind. The main doors to it are still open. There are watch posts where militia would be posted for guards, etc. But there's no sign of any clerks or any other people in it.
Is there like posters of saying like eviction or some similar thing?
No, nothing like that. There's a lot of posters advertising the Harvest Festival. That was, at least according to the date on it, came through about 10, 12 days ago.
Okay.
Okay. Roughly the time when you guys were in Bogenhaven.
Okay.
Okay. That seems to be the most current thing on the poster. I mean, there's other miscellaneous odd jobs, things like that people are advertising for, things that they're selling, trading, looking for. But the main thing that you've seen throughout the town is this Harvest Festival celebration.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there like personal effects that you would think would be like picked up usually, but discarded?
There are things like mementos, like collectibles or things that you would have emotional attachment to. Like if you left town, you would bring.
Yeah.
Yes, there's plenty of those left behind. Those seem to have been left specifically, but personal effects like a wallet or that sort of stuff, everybody has.
Okay.
Or it's not. You don't see anything.
I don't walk into a town and everyone's
Everyone's just laying there in the street. Darn it! Yeah, I mean the stuff that you carry just on your person.
Yeah.
None of those things are around.
Okay.
But things that you would keep in your house or keep in your room, those things are still there. Okay, so it's like modern sensibilities. Their cell phones are gone, but their laptop is still there.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of stuff.
Okay. Is it dirt roads?
Cobblestone.
Cobblestone. Fancy village. It's. I guess I will go to. With talking with the boat person, probably mention like a distiller or whatever of wine.
The winery.
Yeah. I'll go to the most popular one and check that out.
Like the most popular tavern or the largest tavern?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Mulder. Okay, so you stop at a couple of taverns. Similarly, in most cases, there are plates and dishes that haven't been washed, but have been, for the most part, collected. There are places where they have food left out that's gone bad, obviously, or in a couple of places they had pots burning on the oven, on the stove, that have since burned out because they're all firewood based.
Yeah.
And the food has gone bad or got overcooked and burned on the stove.
Okay.
Most of it appears to be, you're going to guess, 2 weeks old, maybe a week.
Okay.
Everything else, it feels almost like everybody just got up and left all at the same time.
Is it a gated village?
No.
Or okay. Is there like any 7-pointed stars or whatever in the streets or something?
No, not that you see.
Can I check my second sight or whatever? See if there's any disturbances like that.
No, there's no particular trends along those lines.
Okay. Like any animals at all?
No, other than that one dog you heard when you originally approached the village itself, somewhere in the city. Hasn't seen it. You haven't seen that, and after a while, that the dog stopped barking.
What direction was the dog approximately?
In the town.
In the town.
You've wandered around again in the town. Again, it's not a huge village, a couple of dozen houses and buildings. So it's taken you a few hours to search around and check different places. Other than being spooky, I mean, like I said, it's a fairly upscale town, fairly well off, except for the fact that nobody is living here.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be any sign of animals or anything else. And now that you're pondering it, you haven't heard birds or anything else either.
Okay. I would like to try to cast produce small animal and see if an animal ends up coming.
Okay, give me a spellcasting roll. You summon a really big animal.
Yes. Magic. That is 150. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. You cast a spell. I would say no.
Okay.
You're fairly certain you cast the spell successfully. There is no sign of any animals that arrive.
Okay. Did the fields and vineyards look like the grapes and stuff look like unattended for weeks at a time, or did that look well maintained?
From a distance, they looked fine.
I guess I'll go check out
The vineyard?
yeah.
Okay. So you head across the footpath to the southern side where the plantation is and all the vines. Do you have any farming skill?
Yes, the wizard has farming
I figured you might.
No.
Okay, give me outdoor survival.
Okay. I'm actually get to that.
Okay.
That would be a 122.
122. Okay. The vines and the vineyard itself looks lush and growing. Okay. If anything, it seems like it's a bit overgrown.
Okay.
Okay. There are a collection of different varieties of grapes, predominantly a dark reddish grape,
Okay.
intermixed with a much smaller proportion of like a greenish grape. You understand the difference in grapes, okay? There's a lot of them that are off the vine laying on the ground at this point.
Okay.
But the rows themselves are very organized, very orderly, and so forth. And from the bridge, there's a main trail, a dirt trail that leads from the bridge directly to the plantation house itself, out in the middle of the vineyard.
Does it look like it was well traversed?
The trail, yes, absolutely. Looks heavily packed. Looks like many wagons have gone up and down it.
Okay. Is there a particular color that's predominantly like either on the ground or on the vine?
Yeah, dark red.
Or on the vine? Or...
Yes, about not. I would say about 90% of the grapes are a dark reddish color.
Okay.
The remainder are a pale, slightly translucent green.
I'd like to second sight, see if that's or my knowledge about grapes, whether or not that's abnormal.
Yeah, you have no idea. Second sight does not help you identify grapes.
It could have been magic grapes.
They are not magic grapes. Not at least as far as your second sight can tell you.
Could I get a stick and poke one of the grapes and see what
Sure.
color the juice comes out as?
Sure. You poke the green grapes.
Okay.
They come off the vine fairly difficultly, or it's fairly hard to knock them off. They seem like plump, normal grapes.
Okay.
When you poke the red ones, however, they come off very easily, fall to the ground with a soft splat, losing their texture, leaving behind a dark black sort of juice both on the vine and in the grape itself.
Okay.
Definitely does not seem appetizing.
Yeah.
As far as grapes go.
Is there like a main building of this?
Yeah, the whole vineyard is spread out in a large field, and then eventually heads up the river to the west. But this trail leads to a single large plantation house, which would be both the lodging, staff housing, as well as the vineyard, where they actually convert the grapes into wine, as well as store it long term for processing.
I guess I will head up to the plantation house and see if they're also missing.
Okay. You head up there. The place from the exterior is quiet and empty, similar to how you had seen the town.
Is there smoke out of the chimney?
Yes, there is smoke coming out of the chimney.
Okay.
There is a couple of wagons, open cart wagons. No horses that you can see. The wagons, a couple of them are loaded up with barrels, but they look like they've been there for some time.
Okay.
And the doors and shutters are all closed on the house.
Okay. Could I listen at the door and see if I can hear anything?
Sure. Give me a perception roll, or tell me what your perception is.
My perception is a 39. And then if you want Giselle's, which I don't know whether or not you do, she has...
Is she going to listen at the door too?
Sure, a 25.
A 25? Okay. The two of you listen at the door. You don't hear anything.
Okay. What section of the house would I presume that the chimney smoke is coming out of?
The living section.
Living?
Yeah, basically, think of a big rectangle. On one side is the house itself, the living quarters. Then you have the processing area where they would turn the grapes into wine, etc. And then you have the storage room where they keep the casks for months or years until it ages appropriately. In a winery, that storage room is typically massive. It's a big warehouse because they're producing huge casks of wine that have to sit there for 5 years. So they have to have a lot of space to store all the wine that they're creating year after year. Mm-hmm. Then separately, there's a small outbuilding where the servants and staff would be staying.
Yeah.
And so forth. The smoke seems to be coming from the main living quarters.
Could I go around the house?
Sure.
And see if there's anything going on back there?
Yeah, you walk around the house. In the back, there's an old well for some water. Couple more wagons and things like that. No sign of anything. There's no there is an old stable. The doors are open to it. There's no sign of any animals in it, however.
Okay. Does the water look fine in the well?
You drop the bucket down and pull it up. Yeah, it seems fine.
Okay.
Looks like water.
Yeah. I guess I will... you said the barrels in the wagon in the front of the house look old?
They look like they'd been there for a few days.
Okay.
Or a couple of weeks. As in the tarp that covers them is loose and flapping in the breeze. It looks like they've been just sort of left there as opposed to anything else.
Okay. And if I shift them, does it feel like there's liquid inside?
You can't shift them because they're about 50-gallon drums.
Okay.
And yeah, they definitely feel heavy. You're not sure whether it's liquid or anything else.
Is there a spigot?
There is a cork at one end that you can pull out, but it would result in whatever it is inside pouring out.
Yeah.
The majority of it.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll go up to the front door.
Okay.
The windows are shuttered.
Yes.
Are they barricaded or just shuttered?
They're not barricaded from the exterior.
Yeah.
But when the shutters are closed, they would typically be locked on the inside if they are locked.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be able to tell that without trying them.
Okay. I will I will knock on the front door, see if anyone responds.
Okay. A few seconds go by, and then you hear somebody from inside call out, "Who's there?"
A traveler trying to figure out what happened to the town. I got medicine for the priests.
You have medicine. Where are you from?
Grunberg.
Grunberg? Who sent you?
What was the priest's name? It was the priest up in Grunberg, the Sigmarite priest.
You don't remember his name?
No.
It's only been a couple of days.
Only a couple of days.
Give me an intelligence roll.
Okay. I took notes on the noble lady, not the. Not the. I was gonna take notes on the priest, but then you started giving me a quest, so it's like, oh, I'll just do this now. Oh, I will use a fortune. Why not? I got 5 as well. There we go. That's an 88. So that would be a 146 or something.
Okay. You give out the name of the priest.
Yeah.
And they say, he sent you. Oh, okay. Quick, let him in. You hear a bar being pulled out away from the door, and they open it up, swing the door open, look out, squinting at the sunlight. Then they see you and jump back in fright with your plague doctor mask and everything. Inside, you see maybe a half dozen people.
Okay.
They all seem weak and malnourished, like they haven't been eating. There's a couple of buckets with water, you're presuming, and several makeshift beds around the room where a couple of them are laying on.
Okay.
The one talking to you originally, a guy, comes over to the door and greets you and says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. We were afraid nobody was ever going to come. You said you have brought medicine to cure the plague?
To cure the help.
To cure the help?
Oh, to cure or help.
Cure or help? Oh, okay. Let me see.
I'll pull up the vials.
Okay. He quickly grabs one of them and goes over to a fairly sick-looking person. Starts pouring it down his throat and having the guy drink it. The guy sputters and coughs. Probably half of it comes back out. And he says, the priest, you can recognize him from his markings as a priest of Shalia,
Okay.
and says, I don't know if this is going to help, but we'll have to give it a few hours and see if it makes any assistance.
Okay.
You said you came from Grunberg. Is more assistance coming?
They've been trying to get assistance, but I was the only one that was willing to come down here and help.
Have you brought any food? None of us have eaten in days.
I have 7 days of food of rations. If you want that,
Yes.
sure. I guess
Okay.
I'll give that to them.
Okay. He distributes the food amongst the hungriest, giving them each like a quarter ration or whatever.
You don't carry around about a month worth of food for our whole town.
Don't. He gives them what food they can. They all eat it greedily and quickly. Like I said, from his description, they haven't eaten for at least the last week. They've been surviving off of abundant water, which is only going to help them for so long.
So why you up here instead of at the town?
The town is lost. The people here are only a matter of time. As you're talking with him, he's eating his little bit of biscuit he has and so forth. One of the people in the group gets up and sort of starts shuffling towards the door. He spots him before he gets to the door and quickly yells out an alarm to the others, who jump up and quickly slam the door shut, barring it again. The one walking over to the door, sort of like almost in a daze, walks up and just sort of pushes up against the door before he slowly turns and then just sits back down. He says, that's the problem. None of us can leave.
Why is that?
Unknown. Something affected the town a couple weeks ago. People started getting sick, and next thing we knew, they started heading uphill up the river and didn't come back. Over the last couple of weeks, pretty much the entire village has disappeared up the river somewhere. I was able to gather these few people, and we locked them into this place. I only came to town maybe a month ago, so I haven't, for whatever reason, been affected. But everybody else is suffering some sort of curse.
Looking at the person that was like stumbling out of the door or something. What's it? He looks malnourished.
Yes.
But is there any other things I can see off about him?
He's malnourished. He's particularly thin. He has the handful of rations that were given to him currently in his hands, but he's making no motion to actually eat them at this point.
Okay.
Okay? Instead, he's just sort of sitting there, just staring out into space.
So he said that we were going upriver?
Yes. All of the villagers, when they gave in to the curse before we could stop them, went upriver.
Do you know where?
No. My focus was on saving who I could.
Is there food supplies in the town somewhere?
There might be, but we can't leave the safety of this building. As soon as we head out into the sun, we lose control of these people. Like I said, I'm not as effective. I've only been in town for about a month. It doesn't seem to have taken hold with me. And certainly you would be fine being new, unless you've had a desire to head upriver. Giselle says, I thought about it, but no.
Up until now, no.
See, it's already affected you.
Yeah.
The curse is setting in.
Does it only affect you in the sunlight? Like, when it's dark, does that affect
Oh,
you?
no, it any time of the day.
Okay.
I've managed to save these few souls by keeping them locked in the building. Unfortunately, the food ran out a week ago, and all we've been able to do is get some water from the well. We dare not eat the grapes. Those have obviously been affected as well. And the wine, what's left there is, I don't trust either.
Well, do you know of any food stores where food would be kept so I can get some for you guys?
If there's still some available, then in the town there's a few places where in the taverns and so forth where they have food supplies, and you saw some here and there, different supplies. I mean, you could probably fairly easily gather a couple of weeks worth of food if you so chose.
Okay. So.
I mean, it'd probably take till tomorrow. At this point, it's probably getting later in the afternoon, early evening. But
was it a case of just everyone's walking north?
according to him, the reports he got initially was of some sort of a sickness. He arrived in Rotford about a month ago trying to deal with it, and discovered that the villagers, progressively more and more, were suffering some sort of affliction that put them in a daze and caused them to travel by foot up the hill up into the foothills. Similar afflictions affected the livestock and the wild animals in the area. Okay. He doesn't know the cause. He doesn't know what the malady is, but he is trying to save the last dozen or so people from whatever the cause is. And from what he says, if they're confined, they're fine. But as soon as they have an open path, effectively, then they succumb and travel. And his concern is that it's a matter of time until he feels the need as well, at which point the whole group is going to go. According to him, he's been having dreams recently where he wants to go into the foothills. Doesn't know why. He just has a compulsion to head in that direction.
Okay. Did something go bad at the Harvest Festival? Or did it start at the Harvest Festival?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, it was strange. The Harvest Festival, there was that green moon out. But it didn't. I mean, we had problems a good couple of weeks before that.
Okay. So I will probably. There's that servants' quarters that's separate from the building. Okay, I will probably stay there for the night.
You and Giselle are gonna sleep independently of the rest of the group?
Probably. Curse, mind control, people. No.
You don't trust them?
They're beneath
They're beneath you.
Yes.
Those peasants. Leave them to their fate.
I'll sleep there, and then the next day I'll get them supplies, and then look for maps or gear to go up into the foothills.
Okay. Supplies are fairly easy. You can obtain plenty from town.
Okay.
I don't know what sort of gear you might want from the foothills. These are rolling grassland type foothills. They're not hazardous or difficult terrain or anything.
Is it going towards the mountains, or is it going
towards the foothills? That little bit of a river just west of Rotford is a stream. It heads up, according to the map at least, a day or two's walk into the foothills. And according to the priest, the vineyards go for quite a ways along the river. They're fed by the river coming out of the mountains. And he doesn't know where they were going, but they were heading up the river.
Okay.
In the direction of Bogenhaven.
So, in Bogenhaven, did we deal with like any water pollution or something? Or not that I know of.
Okay. There were a lot of bodies in the river.
Well, that's usual for this time period. Okay. The supplies I was thinking is more like a map of the foothills.
Okay. Yeah, you can find some basic maps of the foothills and so forth. They indicate the river, at least from what you can tell, looks like it goes out, like I said, about 2 days. And there is a spring in a ravine where the river comes out of.
Okay.
And then travels downriver to here. There's a natural spring that feeds the river, and then rains and so forth add extra to it.
I'll probably get maps, rope, torches probably, since I don't have torches.
Okay.
Probably a good thing. I do have a lantern, so I'll get a torch then.
Like I said, functionally, any mundane gear that you could carry. The town is take whatever you want.
Rich.
Well, you still have to be able to carry it.
Yes. I will take all the gold.
Okay.
No. Yeah. And it's just rolling foothills.
Yeah, grassland.
Grassland. I doubt a spyglass is mundane.
Probably. That's not mundane.
Yeah.
That's more expensive.
Yeah. I guess some matches.
Some matches and torches.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I guess some vials.
Okay.
Like some empty vials.
Okay.
And do they have any healing drops at all?
You managed to scavenge 2 of them.
Doubled my number. All the healing potions. Yeah. Yeah, and then some empty vials. And I will instruct Giselle, and I'll give her 20 paper to start writing into the research paper.
Okay. Into the mysteries of Rotford?
Yep, mysteries of Rotford.
Okay. And then you're going to head up that evening or the following morning?
Probably the following morning. It takes 2 days to get near
to
the
get
end.
to the spring, yes.
Spring. And then 2 days back.
Yep.
I guess I will do that afternoon.